What's good, everybody out there on YouTube? This is your man Shadow Stick dropping some hot frog on this mic. Today I want to be talking about the current state of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. It's something I've wanted to talk about for a while now, especially after I finished writing the Sonic Adventure video. In general, I think Sonic the Hedgehog is in a good place. But I think a lot of people, especially the Doom Patrol on Twitter, that believes Sonic cannot be good in any capacity, or they have to have a but behind every time someone says something positive about Sonic, says otherwise. But I will say this, Sonic wasn't in a good place for a while. I think with releases like Sonic Boom, Sonic Lost World, and Sonic Forces, fans had every right to be skeptical up until the release of Sonic Frontiers. But I think with things like the movies, the comics, and even some of the TV shows, most notably Prime, doing extremely well in fans' eyes, or at least with the case of Prime up until the end, the brand outside of the games has been doing relatively well. And despite us getting things like Sonic Forces, Sonic Mania kind of held up the brand in a way that was unexpected. It was good, it came out, it had a bunch of new stages on top of a bunch of remixed old stages, and I think it did what it needed to do. Then we got Sonic Mania Plus, which added more playable characters, remixed the stages even more, and in all honesty, made the package even more worthwhile. But Sonic Mania really couldn't hold things for the longest time as far as like being the thing that holds up the franchise. We got a Sonic Colors re-release on Sonic Colors Ultimate, and while many people didn't like it because they felt like it didn't do service to Sonic Colors itself, we still got one of the best Sonic games of all time re-released. This is actually double fold when you take into account Sonic Origins. Again, Sonic Origins was a bit buggy upon release, but we finally got Sonic 3 and Knuckles and an official re-release in some capacity, which hasn't happened for I think the past 10 or so years. And don't get me wrong, there were stumbles along the way, but I think Sonic Frontiers kind of made the franchise lock in, because that was the last product that we were waiting for to be good, in all honesty. I mean, we got Sonic Superstars right after Frontiers, and that game was really good. Don't get me wrong, it's not perfect, it has its issues, but it was a solid 2D Sonic release. And that's all I really could ask for. Sonic Frontiers took the series and it pushed it to new heights, while Sonic Superstars, I guess, was a way to keep the momentum going. And with the updates to Sonic Frontiers, I think Sonic Team has finally realized what they need to do with the next game. We know that open zone is probably going to be the future of the franchise, and I'm all here for it. Now I want to talk about Sonic X Shadow Generations. I think Sonic X Shadow Generations is really going to be the litmus test for the people who are going to be excited for the new games going forward, and for whether old fans will really like it. The Sonic fan base has this tendency to not like things they didn't grow up with. I'm gonna keep it real with you. And I feel like the kids who grew up with the stuff during the early 2000s, which includes myself, are going to have a more negative outlook on a game like Sonic X Shadow Generations. I mean, before we got the gameplay from people like Fidel or Games Cage, the press release footage from IGN didn't look all that great to a lot of people. But there were a lot of cuts in that gameplay, and to be honest, it showed off the most boring parts of the stage. But after actually getting to see the gameplay in the stage in full, a lot of people have become excited for it. And they keep releasing new images and screenshots and stuff to, I guess, solidify that hype in the fans' minds. I know I'm super excited for it, especially because we get to play as another character, as the primary character, in this case, Shadow. And I think it really shows the confidence that Sonic Team has, and I guess just really exploring things outside of the Sonic norm again. I've always kind of wanted a sequel to Shadow the Hedgehog, in a sense, because it's one of my favorite games growing up, and it still is one of my favorite games today, despite all of its flaws and issues. And seeing that kind of in the form of Sonic X Shadow Generations has given me hope for a Sonic Team. Not because Shadow the Hedgehog in itself was, some great game, but it showed a willingness to kind of explore and push the boundaries of what is a Sonic game and what a Sonic game could be. Hopefully they show us more of the game, especially in some of the more combat heavy sections, because again, you guys seen the videos I made discussing combat in Sonic games. I've made at least like 2 or 3 videos on it, whether it be my video on the Unleashed Werehog or my video on how to fix Sonic Frontiers combat. And I really want to see what they've done to, I guess, evolve that, because it's becoming a heavy focus of the franchise again. On top of that, I want to see more of the level design. To be honest, this cyberspace stages in Sonic Frontiers, at least the ones that were really good, that were original, were really good. as I said just now. And I'm surprised there weren't more original stages. I know people didn't like the super short ones, but I knew that was going to be a given that we had an open world game functionally. But I really want to see how consistent and how like really lengthy these stages can be. I don't need super long stages, but I would like to see how they've really gone about designing these stages, making them more replayable, and really designing them around the player being able to find different paths and faster ways to get to the end of the level. But that's just me. How do you guys feel about the state of Sonic the Hedgehog right now? I really feel like Sonic is in a good place. I think going forward, if they continue what they do, the franchise will be held as one of the greats again. And in all honesty, when you think about Sonic the Hedgehog, it's really the only other platforming series outside of Mario that can still sell for $60 or $70 and no one bats an eye. And I really want Sonic to maintain that AAA prestige. Hopefully they do it with Sonic X Shadow Generations going into the next game, and hopefully we get some glimpses of what's next for the series after that soon. But hey guys, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Share this video out with your friends. Make sure you watch my last video on Sonic Adventure. It was a really nice kind of like think piece on how the game exists in 2024, whether it's good or not, how it's aged, and whether it's worth playing or not. And check out some of my other videos. I made a Jet Set Radio video, and I thought that was pretty cool. I'm going to follow up with a Bomb Rush Cyberpunk video here soon, so keep an eye out for that. But this is me, your man, Hastags. Afaraga turns to Cobra Saga. Make sure you chill out some of my other videos and follow your boy on Twitter. Links, as always, are down in the description. We're out of here. Peace.